I'm Mikayla Hirsch, and I am here with Secretary General Nahom Haddis. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
Good. Okay, so I have a few questions for you, and then we'll let you get on to Secretary General for things.
Okay.
So, first question is, how has Model UN impacted your life in general? As a senior, as a person, how has it given you life skills?
Yeah. Model UN has impacted me in several different ways. One of the ways it's impacted me is it taught me a little bit how to communicate better. Also, it gave me an understanding over different real-world issues that I never really gave much thought to, by providing, for example, one of the things I talked about in my opening statement was how 1 out of 9 people lack clean water. That's something that I hadn't considered previously. So without Model UN, I wouldn't have had that type of awareness. And it also taught me a lot in terms of just interacting in day-to-day life. The bonds that I was able to help build via one have kind of transcended, and they've taught me a lot. And it's also just made me more grateful about everything in life.
Yeah. What would you say is the hardest part about being Secretary General, and what obstacles have you
encountered?
Yeah.
I would say the hardest part is improvising. You can always have a script, or you can always have some sort of model that you adhere to, and you memorize it, you spend hours and hours. But sometimes the slightest things can come up, and that could completely skew it. If someone is going ahead and you're timing it by the minute, someone decides to go overtime, now you then are going to have to go ahead and adjust. If a delegate gets lost and now they have to talk to you, that's more time that's taken into account. Sometimes you have to make placards off the spot. So it's just learning how to best adapt to different situations. And because of the fact that you don't know these situations beforehand, it's very hard to prepare for.
Yeah. Is there anything that you hope to leave behind for next year's delegates and next year's secretariats?
Well, one of the things I really hope to leave behind is, in terms of an intangible thing, is just perseverance. I'm not someone who is perfect or born perfect. I even within the opening ceremony, there were certain things I had to go ahead and overcome. So it doesn't necessarily matter where you're at currently; it's how you're aspiring to go ahead and improve. As to something tangible, however, one thing is we've created a newsletter, and thanks to the help also from the prior Secretary Generals before me, who've kind of pushed the idea, but thanks to that, and thanks to also our own efforts, we've been able to make it an actual tangible thing. And we'd love to see delegates and the new Secretary General go ahead and take that to the next level, maybe implement a podcast of some sort.
Yeah, for sure. What is something that you're going to miss most about MUN?
The memories. It's interesting, and it's really fun to go ahead and see how people who don't know each other at first begin to go ahead and become more close and more familiar with each other, as well as how they kind of take on the personalities and the stances of their countries. Just seeing that dynamic that is Model UN and what makes it so unique is something that I'm going to definitely miss.
What are some things that you're looking forward to see this weekend, whether it's delegates, activities, reading resolutions?
Right. Well, one thing I really look forward to is seeing General Assembly, seeing how that kind of plays out. It's the moment where delegates from all across committees kind of go together, and I'm curious to see what type of resolutions delegates will be making. So definitely General Assembly is a strong one.
What state topic interests you the most, you personally?
What state topic interests me?
Out of all of the ones that we have in committees?
I would say one of them would be mental health in particular. I think that in the past we've talked about the need for safe, nutritious foods, which is still important and it's still something that needs to be discussed. We've talked about a lot of things tangibly, but a lot of the times we kind of forget how mental health truly impacts us. So I'm curious to see the type of resolutions that will be made addressing that, especially with the fact that my mental state is different from yours, and ultimately solving my mental problems may be different than yours.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Seeing how they're able to go ahead and do that when it's on such a subjective level is interesting.
All right, one last question. Will we see you dancing at the mixer?
Ooh, well here, it depends. I'm gonna be honest. It depends on the type of music that's being played.
I understand that.
I
understand that.
Look, man, if the music is not necessarily the type of music, I'm sorry, I didn't really have any input in deciding the type of music that's being played. So it depends. If it's, a certain type of music, then yeah, you might see a little Millie Rocks out here.
Awesome.
I got my woe on point, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna twist it.
All right, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No problem.